If you're over 60 and you hold a UK driving license, stay with me for the next few minutes, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to check on your own license today, what deadlines are quietly approaching, and what's being proposed that could affect how you drive for years to come. We're going to start with the change that's catching the most people off guard right now, one tied to a very specific birthday, and one that most drivers have genuinely never heard of until it's already too late to fix it easily. Let's get into it. If you passed your driving test before January 1997, there's a good chance your license contains something called grandfather rights. These are older entitlements that were automatically given to drivers of a certain era, allowing them to drive vehicle categories that today's drivers would need separate tests for. Specifically, we're talking about category C1, which covers medium-sized lorries and vehicles weighing between 3.5 and 7.5 tons, and category D1, which covers minibuses carrying between 9 and 16 passengers. Now, a lot of people with these categories on their license have never driven a lorry or a minibus in their life, but plenty of others do use them. Think about retirees who drive larger motorhomes over 3.5 tons. Think about volunteers who help run community transport schemes, ferrying people to hospital appointments or day centers. If that's you, listen carefully to what comes next, because this is the part almost nobody knows about. When you turn 70 and your license comes up for renewal, those grandfather rights are not automatically carried forward, they simply expire. The only way to keep them is to proactively apply before your renewal by completing a medical examination form and an eyesight report form and submitting both to the DVLA. If you don't do this, categories C1 and D1 quietly disappear from your license. You'll still be able to drive your regular car without any issue, but that motorhome or that minibus entitlement will be gone. And getting it reinstated means going through the entire medical and eyesight process all over again from the beginning. So if you're approaching 70 and you're not sure whether these categories are even on your license, here's what to do right now. Log into your driving record on gov.uk, search for View Driving License, and sign in with your government gateway details. If C1 or D1 shows up and you want to keep it, contact the DVLA directly and ask specifically about retaining grandfather right entitlements at age 70. Don't wait until after your 71st birthday, because by then, it's already gone. Now let's move to something that affects every single driver in the country, not just those approaching a milestone birthday, and the penalties around it are getting noticeably stricter this year. This one's about keeping your personal details accurate with the DVLA, and I promise you this is more serious than most people realize. The DVLA is currently rolling out digital driving licenses through the gov.uk wallet. Don't worry, your physical photo card isn't going anywhere. It remains fully valid until at least 2030. But alongside this digital shift, enforcement around outdated personal details has ramped up significantly. Under UK law, you're legally required to notify the DVLA whenever you move house. Fail to do that, and you could face a fine of up to £1,000. Here's why this matters more in 2026 than it did a few years ago. DVLA records are now being cross-checked with number plate recognition camera data and other government databases in real time. That address mismatch you've been quietly carrying for years, the one that never caused a problem before, is now far more likely to get flagged. The same goes for your name. If you've married, divorced, or changed your name by deed poll and your license still shows your old name, that mismatch can cause real headaches with insurance claims, car rental companies, and even border control when you travel. The fix is simple though. Updating your name costs £20 for a replacement photo card done entirely online. Updating your address is completely free and takes about 5 minutes. So this week, do yourself a favor, log into your driving license record and just double check that your name and address match exactly what's on file elsewhere. It's a small task now that could save you a big fine later. Now here's a question worth sitting with for a second. What if the way you're currently checking your own eyesight for driving isn't actually reliable? That's exactly the concern driving our third change. The government's road safety strategy this year included a proposal for mandatory eye tests every 3 years for drivers age 70 and above, which would replace the current system where you simply self-declare that your eyesight meets the standard. The public consultation on this ran from January through May 2026 and has now closed, with an official government response expected later this year. We don't yet know the final decision, but here's what came out of that consultation that should give every older driver pause. Evidence submitted by coroners showed that in multiple fatal accidents involving older drivers, the driver had self-declared as meeting the eyesight standard at their last renewal when their actual vision was significantly below it. So here's the practical takeaway, regardless of what the government ultimately decides. If you're 70 or over and haven't had a proper eye test in the last year, book one now. Not because it's currently mandatory, it isn't yet, but because if this proposal does become law, having current documentation puts you ahead of the curve. And honestly, even setting the DVLA aside, wouldn't you rather know exactly where your vision stands before your next renewal, giving yourself time to sort out corrective lenses if needed? The good news here is that free NHS eye tests are available to everyone age 60 and over at any NHS optician, no referral required, no waiting list to worry about. And now, the fourth change, the one that could affect nearly every driver's evening plans, not just older ones, but one that's especially relevant if you're used to calculating exactly how much you can drink before getting behind the wheel. The government's road safety strategy also proposed lowering the drink-drive limit in England and Wales from the current 80 milligrams of alcohol per 100 milliliters of blood down to 50 milligrams. That would bring England and Wales in line with Scotland, which already operates at that lower limit, and with the majority of European countries. For learner drivers and anyone who's held a full license for less than 2 years, the proposed limit is even stricter, around 20 milligrams, which is effectively zero tolerance. Let's put that into real terms. At the current 80 milligram limit, many people can have around 1 to 1.5 pints of average strength beer or a large glass of wine and still stay within the legal limit. At 50 milligrams, that margin shrinks dramatically. For a lot of people, a single standard drink could put them right at or dangerously close to that proposed limit. This is still a proposal, not a confirmed law, but the direction of travel is unmistakable. The only truly safe approach, and the one already used across Scotland, is simple. If you're driving, don't drink at all. No mental math, no guessing, no cutting it close. So let's bring this all together. If you passed your test before January 1997 and you're nearing 70, check your license today for category C1 or D1 and contact the DVLA well before your birthday if you want to keep those rights. Check that your name and address are correct on your DVLA record, because that outdated address could cost you up to £1,000. If you're 70 or over, book a free NHS eye test now, rather than waiting for a mandatory rule to force your hand. And keep an eye on the proposed drink-drive limit change, because 50 milligrams leaves far less room than 80. None of these changes are meant to alarm you. They're simply things worth knowing. So you stay in control of your own driving future. If this video helped clear things up, do us a favor and hit like, drop a comment letting us know which of these 4 changes surprised you the most, and subscribe to DWP Guide UK so you never miss an update like this one. And please share this with anyone you know over 60 who's still driving. It genuinely might save them a fine or worse. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.